Hey everybody, I'm sitting here with Denise Sheldon, the head volleyball coach at Menlo College out there in Palo Alto, and she's going to talk to you today about the do's and don'ts of how to make a highlight video. So Denise, thanks for taking the time to share with us, and I'll just turn it over to you.
Thanks, Brig. I'm happy to be here today. So today I am here to talk about the do's and don'ts of making a highlight video. As I'm sure you know, college coaches are getting hundreds and hundreds of videos and emails from people. And so what we want to do is try to help you to make your highlight video be as effective as possible so that you can get the attention of the coaches that you're trying to get the attention of. So I'm going to kind of go through my list. I've got lots of do's and don'ts, and hopefully this helps you. So I'm going to start with, don't even bother sending an email until you have a highlight video ready to go. As coaches, we get so many emails, and we want to make sure that the people that we are having communication with are people who are going to be appropriate for our program. And so it's important for us to have that video up front so that we get interested in you, and then we're excited to start talking to you. Do send a highlight video first to get their attention. Don't send full match videos because your first contact needs to be either just the highlight or a highlight accompanied by a full match video. As coaches, we only have a certain amount of time to open emails and watch video in a day, and so we need to make sure, like, you want to make sure that we are seeing the best of you right when you send the email. And if you send a full match video, that means we're going to have to watch 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes of video just to see you do your best things. So it behooves you to send the highlight video first, get their attention, and then when we're interested, we'll ask you for full match film. Do film your video on a tripod from behind the court, preferably with you on the near side of the net. The video should show the whole court, both sides, from an elevated view if you can, but if you can't, don't worry about it. Just video is more important than no video. Don't move the camera to follow the action or move the camera to follow you. That's a big pet peeve, and some coaches won't even watch it because it kind of makes us sick, and it's not an effective way to see what you're doing and what we need to see. Do talk to other families on your team and your coach about taking one video of each match that you're playing in a convention center or wherever you're playing it, and share it with each other rather than having 6, 7, 8, 10 cameras behind the court. I say that because a lot of the time when I ask a recruit for a video, they say, oh, I don't have any. There's no way that there's not video of you playing. There is for sure video of you playing. It's just a matter of who has it. And so if you do your homework and just talk to the families on your team, the players on your team, your coach, they will have someone who has video of you. So I think the teams that do this best, they take the time to, like, either their coach is doing it or someone on the club staff is doing it. But if not, maybe it's a team parent, or maybe it's just your friend's parent, and they can just upload it and share it with you. So don't not make a video because you don't have video equipment or you don't have a parent or someone who's watching you play. Every court in the convention center has a camera, and many have 10 cameras on it, and so there's no way there is video of you playing. Just do the homework to get it. Okay, so now the actual video that you're going to create. Do start the video with a screen that has some information about you, so that, when we're going through our emails and we open up a link to learn about you, we know who we're supposed to be watching and information about you in that video. And if someone were to forward that video and not have your email with it, you want to make sure the pertinent information is there. At least you're going to need to have your name, your position, the jersey number that you have on. That is essential. And if it changes between clips, you need You can also put your height, you can put your approach touch, block touch, You can put whatever information that you want in, on that first screen. But I think it's essential. The name, position, grad year, and number is essential. Do not make it possible for the coach who's watching you to not know who they're supposed to be watching. I can't tell you how often that happens, that I open up a video and I can't figure out who it is that I'm supposed to be watching. Really important one, do put your best clips at the beginning of the highlight. Wow us with your first clip. So that first hit that you swing at, or that first set that you make, should be your very best. You never know how much the coach is going to watch. And you want to make sure that if they only watch a couple clips, they get hooked and interested at the beginning, and then they continue watching. Don't be lazy and not take the time to just, if you throw them in random order and the best one isn't until later, we may not get to it, because we just have too much video to watch. And if, in order to help you, we want you to put your stuff out there like as early as possible. Think of it as like a resume. You would want to make sure the most important information is out there right away. This is a big pet peeve of mine. Do put clips of skills that are most pertinent to your position first and most. So for instance, if you're a setter, we need to see you set a lot, and we need to see you set different sets. If you really like to dump and you're good at it, great. Throw those in there a little bit later. The dumps are great, a couple of them, but as a setter, I need to see you set. That's super important. If you also are a pretty good blocker, absolutely include the blocking clips, include the digging clips. But most importantly, I want to see lots of you setting with a couple of those other skills put in there. Don't load up your video that skills that aren't as pertinent to your position. And I'm going to say especially serving, because this is something that I think way too many people make the mistake of. No one is going to recruit you because you had 10 aces in the last tournament. They need to know that you can do the position that you're wanting to be recruited for. And so a couple of clips of you serving, as long as the camera is actually on you, that's great. But we don't just need to see you acing people. As far as we know, we don't know if that person on the other side of the net was just a really bad passer and your serve really wasn't even that tough. We just want to see how you serve, maybe a couple clips, but keep it super pertinent to your position. Let's see. Do show a little bit of video on either side of you performing the action that you want the coach to see. So here's what I mean. You are trying to showcase your attacking, let's say. So we need to see maybe a pass, a set, and then see you attack, and then see where that swing ends up. It doesn't need to be 2 minutes on either side. It just needs to be a short time. We just want to see like what your transition looked like and what your approach looked like, and then where that ball ended up, and the whole completion of the play. I think too often I'll just see like the clip will start and stop like with the person just like in the air, just like hammer, 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 hammer. It doesn't look as impressive as you think. And for us as coaches who are trying to recruit you, we don't really know what we're looking at. So just make sure that you include a little bit of context so we know what's going on. So like for a libero, if you're serve receiving balls, well, we want to see that ball served, and we want to see where that ball ends up, not just you making contact. We want to see all the context. Do keep your video short. 2 to 3 minutes, that's probably the max. We're not going to probably watch more than that. And if we want more than that, we're going to ask you for game film. So, or maybe they ask you for skill film or something like that. So keep it short. Don't overdo it. I promise you we won't watch a long film. Oh, please do make your video yourself and send it yourself. You can film on an iPhone, you can film on an iPad. If you have a camera, that's great. But the quality of video these days is good enough that you don't need anything fancy. So you can certainly film it yourself or have someone else film the video for you. And there's so much free video editing software. And that is not something that I'm great at, and I can do it. So if I can do it, you guys can do it too. So check out the free video editing software online. It's pretty easy to do. I don't recommend hiring anyone to create your video or send it for you. We don't care in any way about special effects, fade-ins and outs. We don't need fire coming off of you before you do the action that we're going to watch. It's just extraneous stuff that most of the time just distracts from what we want to see rather than adding to it. I wrote this like 10 times, and when I was writing all this out, like, we just want to see you play. That is all we want. That's all we care about. In addition, and this is, I think, information for another video as well, but I'll just keep it simple here. Please send the video yourself. Don't have someone else send it for you. Don't pay someone else to do your recruiting for you. I'll be totally honest. Most of us throw those emails that we get from recruiting websites away. We just dump them because we get way too many, and we don't actually know if you're even interested in our school. So it's a waste of our time to spend all our time looking at those types of emails. But if you send me a personal email, and I don't think I've ever talked to a volleyball coach, a collegiate coach, who has not said this. If you send me a personal email, that is the very best contact that you can make. So by spending money and having someone else do it for you, you are actually taking a piece of, like, what I think is one of the most important pieces of the recruiting process, creating a relationship with the coach and with the athlete. You're taking that off the table, and it really just makes it harder. So take the time to find the schools that you want to talk to, and you make that communication yourself. Edit your video yourself. We don't need anything fancy. And that takes me to my next piece, which is keep it simple. We don't need we don't need music or any kind of effects. Again, we just want to see you play. I know for some people, though, they've seen lots of highlight films and they really want music. Okay. If you must, okay, include the music, but do not include music with questionable content or language. Many coaches, and I've talked to a lot of coaches about this, they'll just turn it off and throw the email away if they get some inappropriate music or questionable lyrics. So be really careful about that. And I also think, like, if your clips also include like screaming parents, like if it's the parents are screaming, "Yes, Karen," after every single contact you make, I would just don't include the audio. It can be a little bit much. Do upload your video to YouTube or Vimeo or something like that, and then just paste the link into your introduction email. Don't attach video or like send a link to download, for a couple reasons. One is that, like, just like anyone, we're concerned with viruses and things like that. So we don't want to open files from someone that we don't know, like attached to an email. And in addition, in order to attach a video to your email, they have to compress it and make it smaller, which usually means you're going to lose quality of your video, and you don't want reduced quality. You want the best quality you can. I have a couple of emails in my box right now of highlight film that, like, it's so blurry I can't see it because it was attached. So you don't want to put all this work into it and then the coach can't even really see you play. So it's so easy. Again, if I can do it, you can do it. Just upload it up to YouTube and then just link the little clip. And I guess another thing I just thought of, if you do that and it's on your own YouTube channel, make sure the other content on your YouTube is appropriate and stuff that you would want college coaches to see. I've seen some stuff that I would imagine the recruit didn't want me to see, but didn't realize that, like, when I opened up your recruiting video and I tried to get more information on you by clicking on your name, I just saw maybe some questionable content. So something to think about there. We're coming to the end. I lost my list. Hold on, we're almost there. Okay, do contact coaches early and often, and update your highlight video as you continue to improve. Probably twice a year, maybe 3 to 4 times a year, but I feel like if I say that, people go, "Oh my gosh, it's too much and I can't do it." Twice a year is probably fine. Unless you like change positions or you get way better in a season, well, then you for sure want to create a new video and send it. You don't want to just create one video and use it forever. I sometimes will be recruiting like a transfer who, is already going into their junior year in college, and they're sending me video from like their junior year in high school. if that player hasn't gotten better since their junior year in high school, we probably have an issue, right? So it's super important that you just take the time. And I promise you, once you dive into this, it's not as challenging as it seems. I think we all kind of go into it and we're a little bit scared at first, like, oh, it just seems so big. Just dive into it and check it out. Creating a video is actually quite easy, and just make sure that you're updating it as you're getting better. Some people recommend doing that after every single tournament. I think that's a little much. And when I get videos after every tournament, I'm like, okay, I got it. I just saw you play 3 weeks ago. But I mean, I don't think it hurts anything if that's something you want to do. Do have a coach review your highlight video and get some feedback. You are playing high school or club or both. You also are likely in a club with lots of coaches. And if you have a college coach at any level that is in your club or involved somehow in your program, just go ask them to take a quick look at your video and get some feedback. I say this because sometimes we may include clips that like you might think are really great, but a coach is going to look at it and go, I wouldn't include this one, maybe, more of this other sort of thing. And so my don't be afraid to ask for help. Even if you don't know that college coach in your club, or you don't know the recruiting coordinator, or you feel like, well, I'm not going to a Division I school, so I don't want to bother the recruiting coordinator. That's what those people are there for. Even just your club head coach or assistant coach or whomever, they're resources for you and they want to help you. So make sure that you aren't afraid to ask for help. You likely have great resources at your reach. You just have to ask them. And my last couple comments here, do put in the work to get the attention that you are looking for from the schools that you're looking for. The recruiting process, I totally get, can be a really overwhelming and confusing thing, but there is no shortage of resources out there to learn how to do this and to do a great job. And like I mentioned, ask for help. There are plenty of people around you who I guarantee you are wanting to help you. And then with that, even if you have the most amazing highlight film ever, it's so important that you communicate expediently, and so quickly with the coaches that you're talking to. If you send a film and they reply back, you got to be on top of that. You need to have alerts on your phone, or you need to check your email at least once a day so that you are responding to them. If it's weeks or months that you take to get back to them, they're going to move on and they're going to talk to somebody else. So you want to make sure that you are on their radar. You also want to make sure, and this is sort of off the topic of the recruiting video, but I think there's no point in having a great video if you don't do this. Make sure that you're thoroughly doing everything that they ask of you. So if they write you back and they ask you 5 questions, don't just answer one. You've got to answer all the questions. If they ask you to fill out a questionnaire, do it right away and then follow up with an email. Don't just fill out the questionnaire and don't write anything back. Write back, tell them that you're interested. You have to be great at communication to form that relationship with a coach that's going to make them want you to be in their program. And then ultimately, your goal is to set it up so you have a whole bunch of coaches who want you in their program at whatever level is appropriate for you, and then you then get to choose. But in order to get in that situation, you've got to do the work, put yourself out there, start that communication, continue that communication, and make sure that whenever you're writing, you need to treat it like it's a professional email. So complete sentences, punctuation, we don't want to see a undercase, lowercase I. We don't want to see texting language. We don't want to see, just stuff that's too casual. I don't think you need to go crazy, but I do think this is a professional sort of communication that you should be expecting to have. So my final tip is don't be afraid. Coaches are people too. I think people forget that. They think we're on some high pedestal and we're scary. Coaches are people too. And like I mentioned before, this is like a resume or an interview. And so your job is to put your best foot forward and wow these coaches and get them interested in you so that you find the perfect fit for you for your 4 years in college. So I hope that helps. Thanks very much.